Joining us now is Jennifer Suzuki, president of eDealer Solutions, acclaimed sales trainer, and NADA Dealer Academy guest instructor. Jennifer, thank you so much for taking the time out of your schedule to join us on the show once again.
It's always a pleasure to see you, Jim.
Well, thanks so much for joining us. So inventory is better than it was this time, last year. And there's a lot of brands out there that are saying, hey, the competition is getting a little bit more fierce now. That the cars are arriving, back on the lots the way they were in 2019. So how's this impacting the dealership and the call volume more specifically?
Well, I think that a lot of people are going to call the dealership before they choose a location to where they're going to go. They say 1.5 dealerships, and I think a lot of the vetting process starts on a phone. A lot of times people are going to email. And so we've seen an influx in volume. These are in-market buyers. Mm-hmm. These are generally in-market buyers that are calling. And so in very small cases, I've seen a lot more foot traffic. But in the majority of stores that I go into, their call volume's gone up. This is a lot of where their customers are starting the sale.
Yeah, for sure. And many dealers that I've spoken to around the country said, oh, we got to get our people trained, whether it be on the phone or in the showroom, because it's been like shooting fish in a barrel the last 3 years, right?
Facts. Yeah. And the thing is, and a lot of people say this to me, a lot of dealers say this to me, is when you get into a habit in the last couple of years of, first it was put them on a list, then it was it was ordering things, and then it was just a lot easier to just put them in those situations. But now we have cars. Now we need to move the cars that are on the ground. And so now it's more important than ever to have a process, as you mentioned, to be able to handle a lot of these customers. And then some of our veterans, even pros, they need to be reminded too of some of the main techniques that we know work, that we used to use in the past when we had competition, when we had an influx of inventory. And so the thing is right now is a paramount time to get your processes intact and make sure they're relevant to today, not 2 years ago, certainly not 3 years, 4 years, 5 years ago. That'd be crazy. But I want to be relevant and attractive to today's buyer.
Sure. Speaking of which, what's the pulse on buyer behavior, and how does this impact the constant need to evolve and update sales processes?
Mm-hmm. I mean, people have researched. Chances are they've done some sort of research before they call the store. So if I'm trying to start all over, pretend like these people didn't do their homework and I'm not asking the right questions, then they're going to go somewhere else. They're not going to feel committed to working with you. Buyer behavior, I mean, they've done a lot of research. They know that there's still an inventory problem in some brands. Some brands are different. But for the most part, especially luxury brands, I would say there's a lot more inventory out there. So it's a street fight now. Now there's a lot of competition out there. Buyers know that there's someone who's got a similar car, and now they're trying to work deals. So before it used to be how much over MSRP. That's what they would call and say, how much over MSRP, what's your addendum? Now there's none of that. It's like how much below MSRP, what are you discounting? It's not just you that has the car, it's other people. So again, you want to stand out from your competition, and you want to be sure that you are presenting a more strategic flow and having arsenal of questions, relevant questions. You're giving them a reason to talk to you, come in. Buyer behavior is driving the need for a far more sophisticated approach, more strategic approach, more well thought out approach.
Well, speaking of which, are salespeople adjusting processes based on the industry changes? What can they do to get more appointments?
Yeah, no, that's a great point. I don't think that people realize that things have changed. So we got to change the process. I can tell you, dealers will make a lot more money. Salespeople will be able to see their true income potential. When they recognize the shift. So, for example, we were just talking about how customers are researched now. Before they call in, we don't need to take it from the top. We need to ask the question. Tell me about your research. What have you found out? That's one of my first questions right out of the gate.
Tells you a lot.
They're going to tell you a whole lot.
That's right.
What's your time frame look like? Some people have time on their hands. Some people don't. Some people, I find a lot of people still think that we're in an ordering system. How long is it going to take to get this car? Wow, I might have something for you right now. I might have something coming in. What's your time frame look like? Tell me more about the features that you've been looking for. Here's the thing. A lot of times people are going to still call the store and you don't have the car. And if we don't have the car, in the past, we didn't care. We were like, we have plenty of cars coming in. No, we don't have it. Bye. Talk to you never. Now I'm like, you got to change your sales process to your point. I need to change the sales process because I don't ever want to tell them no.
That's right.
Let's find out what led you to the car. What were the features you were looking for? So these are some staples, some reminders of things that we have to be mindful of to start making the adjustments so we stay relevant.
Yeah, for sure. What are some of the areas that you're focusing on right now to help them convert more of these opportunities into show appointments?
Okay. What am I doing right now? Like we just said, let's redesign some of the questions. So for example, if I ask, how long have you been looking? Have you found a car like this in your search? Where have you found vehicles like, that work for you?
Yeah.
Are they local? Are they out of state? This is the real. A lot of people are finding cars from well outside the market.
I know.
A lot of buyers are calling an hour and a half away.
That's right. I've heard the same thing.
So let me just put this one thing out here that I notice. I just said it to my class before I took this break to do this. You've got to give people a reason to actually work with you. You have to tell them more about who you are, and they have to hear the character and the interest in working with them. They want to feel invited into the store. They want to feel welcome. They want to feel appreciated. They want to feel valued. Look people up in the CRM and see if they're already a current customer.
Yeah.
I want to retain my clients. I want to nurture my database. So if somebody calls in the store or emails you or walks in, I'm going to look them up in the CRM and see if they've already been here, note the history, acknowledge the history, and let them know how much we appreciate.
It's a great idea.
As a customer.
Yeah.
And look, retention is everything, Jim. We have to go after the database too, because you have so many leads, internet, for example, that are going to take a long time to buy. That's part of the buyer behavior too, is they're doing a lot of research, before they pull the trigger. This is why we see 90-day plus old leads resurrect and come together. But we have to, we're going to have to be far more strategic.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of being, looking for different things to bring to the table, any new developments or innovations that you find particularly interesting or impactful?
Okay, I got one for you. This is for everybody. This is literally for everybody. I ask this question all the time because are you using ChatGPT? This is what I say all the time. Are you using ChatGPT? Oh, now a lot of salespeople don't even know it exists still.
I know. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
What
rock have they been living under that they've not heard about this already? It's incredible.
I don't know.
I know.
So there are two things here. One, you need it as part of your sales process. When a customer asks you questions, I can't be like, year 2000. Oh, that's a good question. Let's find out. That's not the world we live in, okay?
That's right.
We have for that. I ChatGPT the information. Hey, I asked the customer, have you been using ChatGPT? Let's ask and find out right now. Chances are they haven't been using it themselves, or maybe they have, and it's a connection. And anyways, you might look pretty like with the program.
Yeah.
If you bust that out,
That's
get
right.
an answer in 2.5 seconds. The customer's wowed. Okay, let's go. I got my answer. So I can use it in the sales process. Anytime somebody asks me something I'm not sure about. The other part is that, a lot of times we're going to have to chase people. As mentioned, buyer behavior, they're shopping.
Yeah.
They're taking the time. That payment went up.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out what they're going to do.
Oh, yeah.
And so staying in touch with people, I can't be salesy. That's where we miss the mark. Because we're trying to follow up with people like they're going to come in today and buy. But if they ghosted you after 3 days, they don't want all that.
That's right.
You need to send some value-based messaging.
That's right.
Okay. And that's why you ChatGPT, like, hey, what's a good text message that talks about insert brand vehicle? Boom, get your information and start being able to put together more meaningful, valuable messages.
Sure.
A lot of times people don't, me too, I don't know how to write all these things. I'm not that creative, but I know something that is.
We got to get these people into the 21st century here, right? It's crazy. The
Yes,
notion that they're still
do
going,
that.
oh, what's ChatGPT? It's like, really? That's crazy. But
it writes messages, it writes texts, it writes your social posts, it does
that's
email.
right.
It can help you with the subject line. It can help you
That's right.
be creative. So there's just no excuses now.
I couldn't agree more. So, and I appreciate all the time you've given us, but let me ask you this. What can managers do right now to support their teams maybe better than they have in the past?
You've got to have like these moments that really show that you nurture and you care for your team members. And it's not save a deal. I like save a deal. Don't act save a deal. But if you can incorporate, for example, ChatGPT, okay? If it's not a thing you guys have been talking about in your sales meetings, this is a teaching moment. This is a very quick hit. I would say 10 minutes, okay? That's my recommendation. 10-minute hits on just something like a topic that is being, like right now, a lot of customers, I want a price before I come in. Let's just have a quick discussion on how everybody's handling it. Get everybody talking and discussing process. You don't have to be, dictating how it's supposed to be or, scripty feels, but allow people to talk about how they're handling, learn from each other, and then give them something in a very timely manner where they can walk away and learn something. The other thing that I would do right now is I would get in the game. So if you know a lot of people, for example, like you mentioned about the calls, if a lot of people are calling the stores right now and we know that we're telling people no, they want a price before they come in, they want all this stuff.
Right.
Then get in the game and do these calls with your team, even if it's just one a day, even if it's just one-on-one. People need help right now.
Yeah, they absolutely do. There's no question about it, because it's so different than it was just this time last year when it was just people, like we said earlier, they're coming in, they're buying the car, they're paying maybe sticker or above sticker price in many cases. And these are the same people you've got selling these vehicles today that you had a year ago. And the market has changed. There's no question about it. And I think the big question, dealers, you got to ask yourself, are your people ready? Whether to be on the phones, whether to be in the service lane or on the showroom floor. Are they prepared for this new normal that we're in right now, right?
And that's our job, is to help team members find their true potential. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is to keep these discussions going.
That's right. When you talk to people that have left the industry, they say, well, I tried auto sales or whatever for a year or two, and I just wasn't given the support. You hear that so much from people that left our industry, and they'll say, I wasn't given the training, I wasn't given the support, I wasn't guided through it. It was just kind of like we hire them and then we see what sticks, we see who the superstars are, and everyone else can take 3 feet, step to the side. And it's really a shame, because I think while we've made huge strides in this area in the industry, there's still a lot of dealerships doing business the old-fashioned way as it relates to this. So we've got to do something about it.
Many people have taken a step back because people want a price, for example. It's like, well, why wouldn't you give them a price?
I know.
I mean, you're going to find somebody who's going to give them a price, because some people are in this world.
That's right.
People want clear and transparent.
That's exactly right. If you're a dealer out there or a sales manager or a GM and you're wondering whether or not your team's running at 100%, and maybe you just even need an audit, maybe you need Jennifer to come into your store for a day or two and then report back to you to say, hey, here are the things that you're doing right, here are the things you're doing wrong, here's what I can help you on and fix. Sometimes a small little fix in your showroom can mean thousands to your bottom line, as you know, in this crazy business that we're in. And Jennifer has been doing that for dealers all over the country. She's been doing it for a while. So Jennifer Suzuki, president of eDealer Solutions, acclaimed sales trainer, working with dealers, as I said, all over and making a huge impact in their bottom line. So Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us on the show. Very much appreciate it.
Oh, thanks for having me. I really appreciate the invite.
Great, thanks.